And it's pretty interesting because, well, let's just say, people want to know what their purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
And Incarnation Cross can help with figuring out what it is you're here to do.
Okay. Is it like your life path?
Well, sort of. Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, the human design specialist.
And I'm Haley, the human design newbie. Listen in as we explore how leaning into your authentic self is your ultimate path to success. Today we're diving into
Incarnation Cross.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
So you wanted to announce something special here?
Yeah, we're in the same room.
We're in the same room. It took a minor miracle to get our recording equipment to work.
It's still kind of shoddy.
Luckily, tech support was in the other room helping us out.
Shout out to Presley.
Yeah, thank you, Presley. He had to come in and use his line 3 to figure everything out, see what worked, what wasn't working.
And Google.
Didn't work for us at all. But yes, so Incarnation Cross today. Oh, let's talk about why we're in the same room.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we in the same room?
That's a good question.
Why are we in the same room?
We are in the same room because I am in town for my cousin's wedding.
Yes, which has been fun so far.
Yes.
Really
well, we
excited.
haven't been to we went to the rehearsal dinner.
Yes. That was...
We're recording mid-wedding.
We had some downtime in between ceremonies. So we're doing the Saturday morning record here before the big event. So
yes.
Congratulations to Andrew and Megan, who will probably never hear this podcast.
Oh, probably not.
Megan might.
She might.
She's pretty cool. Not to say Andrew isn't.
I don't think it's... I don't
think
know.
it's his jam.
No.
But
so, what is an Incarnation Cross?
What is an Incarnation Cross? Well, okay. So you hear about it. Sometimes people will refer to it. Maybe not right away, but when you first get your Bodygraph, it'll say Incarnation Cross on there, and it just gives you a name. Mm-hmm. And it'll say like RAX something or LAX something or JX something. And it's pretty interesting because, well, let's just say, people want to know what their purpose is. Mm-hmm. And Incarnation Cross can help with figuring out what it is you're here to do.
Okay. Is it like your life path?
Well, sort of. So when you look at the human design system, like there's 3 main elements that can really kind of condense it down for you really quick in a way. So we've talked about type, yes. Right? And we know that type is like the role you play, mm-hmm. the energetic role, whether you're a responder, initiator, guide. Yeah.
And
right?
that's like the generator, mm-hmm. projector, that one.
Yeah. And then we looked at profile, which is your character role.
It's your numbers.
Yeah, those are your profile lines. So that's, so like if you're a generator, but you are a 1-3 generator, that means you're here to, respond to things, but you also are one that really needs to investigate through research and everything else, and then try it out, the line 3, the experimenter. Mm-hmm. So that's how you do it. And then the Incarnation Cross is like the plot outline of the story.
Gotcha.
Sure you do.
Well, you said plot. I know what that is.
So cross points to, which you may just hear me say cross. Incarnation Cross is a long phrase, but cross points to the story of your purpose. And Ra Uru, when he first talked about cross, was saying it was kind of like the job description. It's what you're here to bring, what you're... Well, I say job description of your aura, basically, of your energetic signature, what it's here to bring. And so it's an energetic theme that you carry that serves the other. And it's energetic gifts that you bring to the planet, because this is what we're talking about anyhow, all of it, but this is like a condensed down, like a little plot outline
like
of
the
your energy.
high level.
And so what's interesting that cross is not anything that you need to do. Like a lot of this stuff in human design, it's giving you that blueprint. It's giving you the framework of what you're looking at. But depending on how you choose to live out your life, your energy, using your energy, or the experiences, the things that happen to you, all these things come into play. You're never going to fail being your incarnation cross. You're either going to be in an expression of it, like we talked about with other things, a higher expression, lower expression, whether you're leaning into your gifts or hanging out more in the shadow. So people might think that you have to do something to start embodying your incarnation cross, but you really don't. It's just what you do. It's who you are.
Being more aware of it helps?
Well, yeah. So it's really about, if you look at, which we're going to talk about just a second, what makes up your incarnation cross. It really helps give you something to focus on, to know what the high level themes of your whole chart is all about. And so a lot of times when you start looking at the overall chart, because there's so much information in there and you can pick things out, which is why they start at the high level with the generalities of type, profile, and everything. Because then when you get into the gates, if you try to just pull like one gate out, it's not the whole story. It's just a little piece, a little layer.
It's a little puzzle piece to the whole puzzle.
But I think a lot of times when you look at incarnation cross, it's kind of the theme that everything is pointing towards in your chart. Okay, so what is it? Okay, so basically it's the functioning, it's the expression of your four most prominent gates, which, do you know what those would be?
The unconscious, sun, and earth. And conscious.
Yes, all four of them. That's right. So basically that means if you're looking at your chart, it's on the black and on the red side, it's the top two numbers. So it's four numbers. So in my case, I'm a conscious gate 14 sun, gate 8 earth, and then on the unconscious side, and then on the conscious side, gate 59 sun, gate 55 earth. So it's these four numbers, so whatever they are, and that's how you'll read it too. When you read your cross, it is specific. So what that means is that my incarnation cross would read, if you're looking at the gate numbers, 14/8 and then comma 59/55. So mine's going to be a little different, which we'll find out in a while, because I'm a 4/1. I know.
You're special.
I gotta be special. So unique.
So I don't remember the numbers you said for your conscious and your unconscious. So when you just listed them, which ones were which?
The conscious was the 14/8.
Okay.
Unconscious 59/55.
Okay.
And so and for you, so mine is a juxtaposition cross of empowerment. And yours, you are conscious sun and earth. So conscious 63
That's
sun.
the red on the right.
No. Black is on the right. You had red on the right. No. Left on the left. Red on the left. Black on the right.
Left on red.
Oh, yes. Looking at your chart, on the right hand side, it's going to be the black numbers.
Black, which is the conscious.
Yes. Which conscious is determined by
at birth.
And then the other one on the left. If you think about it, at birth, left, if you look at linear time, left would be behind you. Back in time.
Well, it came before, so it's on the left.
Exactly. If you believe in linear time. Anyways, of course I do. Okay. So you have on your conscious side, the day you were born, the sun was in gate 63, earth was in gate 64. 3 months before you were born, 88 astrological degrees, the sun was in gate 26.
It moves fast.
And the earth was in gate 45. Well, the sun goes through a gate every roughly 6 days.
Oh.
Yeah. So 5 to 6 days, somewhere in there. It's not exactly, and so the Earth is always opposite. They travel together around the mandala. So
Not in the actual solar system.
no, we covered that before.
Yes. Okay.
So you have a left angle cross of Dominion. So
Ooh.
let's go back, because I just wanted to lay that first of all, so you know what numbers you're looking at. So we're looking at your sun and earth numbers, gates. And so how Ra, who was the person who channeled and delivered the system to us originally, if you need an overview, go back to episode 2.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, whatever. So, it was said that he was a little bit hesitant about introducing Incarnation Cross in the original teachings, because he thought people would, they should know a little bit more about the system, because cross, he felt, wasn't what he would call personal, because there's really nothing that you do about it. It just is. And so it was more of, well, he called it a transcendent responsibility, meaning that for you to fully express your cross, you really have to be just as authentically you and living in your design as you were designed, to really bring out the full expression of your cross.
Okay.
Which makes sense, because you're talking about, if you look at it from the shadow and the gift and the city perspective, like in the Gene Keys, how it talks about when you're in shadow aspects of some of these gate expressions, it means you're not being authentic. It means you're either repressing your energy, or you're just kind of reacting to things. You're not just being yourself. And that's what the gift means, is that you're just aligning with the energy that you carry, not hiding yourself. You're not acting from a conditioned response. You're just acting as yourself. So he said it wasn't so much a higher calling your cross, it was more of a higher doing. That's what he was said. So Ra was worried that the cross would be something that people were trying to achieve or search for, which, like a dangled carrot. It's oh, I'm the cross of empowerment. So how can I make it happen?
It specifically isn't something you have to work towards necessarily. It's just you being your design. You just be, like you said, authentically you, and then you will be living in your incarnation cross.
Yeah, because, or the real gift that it brings. And so the more authentic you are, the more you're living this energy. So that being said, it's also kind of it's more of a, when you contemplate what these 4 gate energies together bring to the table, when you contemplate that, if you can it's almost like a measuring post, barometer. You could also say, hey, am I really living in the fullest expression of what I came here to bring to the table for everybody else? Because I do like to mention here that I learned a ton about Incarnation Cross through Brynja Magnuson, who did this really awesome book about Incarnation Cross, but she also does these beautiful card decks about human design, which is over there on the shelf.
She pointed to the shelf behind me for those not here in the room.
For everybody else. And she's, in my pitch, she's the expert on Incarnation Cross. I actually was in a little masterclass workshop with her once, and it blew my mind. She just, the way she sees it has really changed, because before I would just see it as something I had to be, but really how she broke it down was that cross really serves those around you. It's not so much about you. It's like when you walk in the room, your cross walks in the room with you, because it's your energy. And she also explained that really at certain times in your life, throughout, the people we come in contact with are electromagnetics. Like, you might notice that the energy that someone else, when they came into your life, kind of helped catalyze things in your own life, if you look back in reflection. So it's interesting how just all this energetic information we're exchanging all the time, which is not things we're really thinking about doing. It's just happening.
I'm not thinking I'm going to share my energy with you.
Yeah. Hey, you over there, you look like
Do you want some of my energy?
you look like you need some questions.
I gotcha.
I'm coming in. But so Ra would say that the cross is really a potential that exists at birth, but it doesn't really manifest until you start living their strategy and authority. Because, when we keep going back to what happens, how we come into this world so pure and innocent and then get, all imprinted upon, and then we got to dig ourselves back out of the hole.
So rude.
But so you're not inherently like acting out your cross. I didn't like come into the world under the cross of empowerment and suddenly
You would have been a strong-willed baby.
I can do anything. That's my mom. No. And let's also say that as you look at your incarnation cross, it does have a name to it that were put on it by Ra. So, as we've discussed in previous conversations, not always the best words
No.
used to describe things. And so, really encourage you to, as you look at your own incarnation cross, either, have another book like Karen Curry Parker's book. She's got the Understanding Human Design. There's a really good one by Chetan Parkin, Book of Destinies. Like if you really want to dig into it a little bit more, he has a description of each cross, including if you have a juxtaposition cross, which we'll talk about in just a second. Like I said,
You special little one.
yeah, but it's really good to just really contemplate the energies individually of the gates that you carry in your incarnation cross and what that means to you of how they all kind of come together.
How many are there?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about next. I was going to talk about another thing, but let's just go into that.
I'm always right on it.
Mm-hmm. So, yes. So these right angle cross, left angle cross, juxtaposition cross. So you're going to have one of those three crosses. So it'll say RAX, LAX, or JX. So what are they? So
Airplane codes.
it sounds
Airport
like it,
codes.
right? Sounds like it.
Well, one is LAX.
Yeah. So there are 196.
Wow.
Right? I think it's 196, 92. One of those. Anyways, it's a lot. That includes all the incarnation cross, but I'm going to break it down because it is tied to profile as well. You'll see why in a second. But so it tells you, like profile does, if your cross is more a self-development focused or more interpersonal, meaning with other people, right? Whether it's personal or interactive in a way. So the right angle crosses are the personal profiles. So that means that they are more focused on personal development, self-development, and your personal journey. So these profiles that will contain a right angle cross are going to be the 1-3, the 1-4, the 2-4, 3-5, 3-6, and 4-6. So this is 64%.
Feels like all of them.
It's not. It's 64% of the population has a right angle cross. And these are the, like I said, the more self-focused, self-development.
The inward self.
The inward, your personal journey. So there are 16 right angle crosses total. So what does that tell you? I told you it was 64% of the population.
Uh-huh. You're asking me to do math.
I'm not. I was just to say, well, it's a large part of the population. There's only 16 of them, so they must occur a lot in the year because it is depending on, when in the year you were born. They are 16 of them, always linked to those first profiles, the lower trigram. And each right angle cross occurs 4 times a year. It's active 4 times a year. So although they are the fewest in name, there's only 16 of them.
4 times 4 is 16.
They're the most common ones. What'd you say?
I said 4 times 4 is 16.
Yes.
I don't know where the other 4 came from.
So like I was saying, they are the fewest in number and name. There's only 16 of them, but they are the most common crosses. And so some examples of them that you might have heard, some maybe not you or maybe listener has heard them, like the right angle cross of explanation, the sleeping phoenix. You hear that one a lot. The vessel of love, the sphinx, the cross of tension, cross of planning, cross of rulership, Maya. These are all, you're probably going to hear these most commonly when people talk.
So the 16 is a part of the 196. Okay.
Yeah. So if you have a right angle incarnation cross, these are people that are creators of karma, action, research, experience. It's all with the focus of knowing themselves in their own life process better.
Like you said, inward.
Yeah. So it's almost like being that example kind of thing, because things that are more self-focused, you just do it for yourself, and whatever the result is has its own way of rippling out. Like you know, it's really an inward journey. Okay, so a left angle cross, these are going to be tied to the profile lines from the upper triangle, the first number, the 5 and the 6. There's 32 left angle crosses, which is 34% of the population. And these are going to be, again, like I said, linked to those latter profiles, the 5 and the 6. So those are the 5-1, the 5-2, the 6-2, and the 6-3. Okay. Yes, that's you. So these are people that are deeply connected to others, because it's through their connections that their impact kind of manifests. People with left angle crosses, deep friendships, as well as chance encounters and temporary meetings have just as much impact, because it's interacting with the other, whether it's for a lifetime or a chance encounter or whatever. It's important. Because the people they come in contact with help them become aware of how their purpose is fulfilled. What?
I don't know why I still remember this, but we were at a bar, and I was up at the bar, I think, getting water, and I had on like a little, not a jean jacket, but it was like a kind of jean looking, just like shirt. And I'm like resting my arms on the bar waiting for the bartender, and this guy comes up beside me and he's like, "Oh, we're wearing the same shirt." And I'm like, "Cool." And then that was all I said. I was like, and I don't know why that memory is stuck in my head, because then he just kind of like bobbed his head and turned around.
Chance encounter. See, it's stuck in your head. There you go. Who knows? Maybe your cross told him to, hey, let's not use that approach again. Just kidding.
I was telling him, no, that's not the right approach.
So if you have a left angle cross, you know that you are going to, interaction with others is going to help you more fulfill your purpose, which makes sense, because, you know, the line 5 is, you know, the, even though in traditional the heretic, but is the visionary leader. This is leadership energy. People look to the line 5 for guidance, and also a line 6, the role model, someone who does have the experience that is here. So both of those profiles are about finding the right people and helping guide them. So it makes sense. So the the left angle crosses, like I said, there's how did I say? Oh yeah, there's 32 of them. Did I say that? Okay.
Yes.
So that means these crosses are active 2 times a year. So even though there's more crosses, there's 32 of them, they're half as common as a right angle cross.
Yeah, the math checks out.
Perfect. Right. Okay. So some examples of the left angle crosses, that some of the names you might have heard: cross the Clarion, cross of Defiance, a friend of mine's cross of Defiance, Dominion, which is you.
Cross I got a Dominion.
Healing Industry.
Industry?
Yeah, actually.
Is healing and industry two different ones? Yeah,
2 separate ones. I was going to clarify that. Some other ones you may have heard of: Masks. I think my mom was a cross of Masks. Revolution, Upheaval, and Wishes. Those are just some examples. There's a bunch of them.
Some of those are great names.
Yeah. And so now we come to the juxtaposition cross, because if you were writing it down or paying attention.
It's 98% so far.
Thank you. Very good. Oh, you were paying attention.
I did my maths.
What I was going to say is, you notice that it left out the one profile, which is the 4-1. Which, if you are aligned...
Is it the only one that's a juxtaposition?
It is the only one.
Oh my gosh. Why you gotta be so special?
2% of the population, so... If you're a 4-1, you know you have a juxtaposition cross. If you have a juxtaposition cross, you know you're a 4-1. There's no other way.
Apples and oranges are the same.
There are 64 juxtaposition crosses.
Good grief.
Yeah, so a lot of times people might talk about
oh my
this.
God, they just kept doubling.
Yeah.
That really makes me happy. I like things when they're
It's
even.
math. It's math.
I like things when they're even and they work out.
So they say that with this profile and these crosses, they're referred to as the bridge in between the left and the right angle cross and profiles.
Juxtaposition.
Yeah. So they are neither personal nor transpersonal. They have qualities of both. So we recently discovered that, I think we talked about in this previous episode, that my sister is also a 4-1.
Yes.
So 4-1 and the juxtaposition cross is supposed to be a very more rare profile, but my sister's 1, I'm 1, and then I just was reintroduced to my friend being 1 the other day. I realized that Larissa's a 4-1 as well. And so it's 2% of the population. There is a 3-hour window in these cycles where you can be a juxtaposition cross, because it basically is when it's switching over sun gates. Yeah, from one to the other. And there's this little window of time that if you're born within it, because it's not always the same.
But it's always a 3-hour window when it's switching.
Yeah.
But you say it's not the same, like it's not the same throughout a year?
Yes, I think so. So that being said, the 4-1 juxtaposition cross are said to have more of a fixed fate, meaning that this alignment between the personal and interpersonal, they have a certain role that they're locked into. So I recently had a discussion with someone about this as well, of how there's a lot of fixedness about the 4-1 because it's those two foundational things. Mm-hmm. And they say if you are a 4-1, you really have to look at the theme of your conscious sun gate. And this has a lot to do with what your role here is. It's going to be around that one theme. So there's only 2% of us out there listening that are juxtapositions, so I don't have to go into too much. You can, if you have questions, you can always like DM me, Instagram, or send me an email. It's in the show notes. But anyways, let's go on to something else.
Yes.
So I want to go back to type and cross, because remember we said that if you are really living your authentic expression, your cross really gets to
shine.
Yeah, you do its job basically. And so we say that really the first thing to living true to yourself and your design is to live your type through strategy
and authority.
And your authority. Correct. So that would say that if you are a generator type, so that's generator, manifesting generator, that would mean that what is the strategy, Haley?
Emotional?
No, strategy.
I don't remember. You said strategy and authority, and I was like, shit, I don't remember which one.
The strategy of a generator type is to...
wait to respond.
Thank you. Correct. Because it's using that sacral response.
Wait to respond. Yes,
right.
That is the strategy.
Yeah, so you're more likely to manifest through following your sacral response, because it's only leading you towards things that light you up, because there is that yes or no to it, but it's really, you're supposed to just kind of leave the no's behind and just follow the yeses. And you don't always know what it's leading you to, but it is leading you step by step by step. So, and I think that's one of the scariest things for the generator types is not knowing where they're being led, which is why we tend to...
Especially if you have line 1 in you.
Yeah. So we tend to like ignore that. We were taught to always know what's going to happen, plan out what's going to happen, but a generator's not supposed to do that. They're just supposed to follow the response, see what happens. And so if they are following their sacral, it will be their guide to lead them to the circumstances where their cross is really needed. So it is really that guiding factor of like, follow this, follow that, follow this, follow that. And it will always lead you to the right place.
Okay.
It might not be obvious why you're being brought to these places, but somewhere down the line, they're needed.
Just got to trust it.
Mm-hmm. They just have to follow that sacral response and trust that it will, like you said. And important note here for those generator types, response is to something outside of yourself. Again, it's not, I think I should do this, I think I should do that. Yes, you may have your own desires or things that you want to happen, but you have to wait for those things in your outer reality that you can actually respond to. Okay?
Yes, outside.
Outside, yes. So if you're a projector,
yes,
with your cross, it'll manifest more easily through being recognized and then invited in.
Wait for the invitation.
And so it's the recognition part is important for the projector because you could be invited into things, but for the wrong reasons. Like you're just there,
Like, I guess we'll give you an invite.
Yeah. They may be inviting you in for things that aren't the best use of your energy or your guidance and what you're to help guide people through. So if you're looking at your incarnation cross and the gates in your cross, like with you, your sun is in the 63, was going to be the most prominent energy throughout your chart, which is logical circuitry. It's the start of the logical circuitry up in the head gate. So it is about asking the, what would happen if, you're possibility minded.
Is that the questions one?
Well, the head gates are all questions.
What is specifically the 63? What is it called?
It's called the gate of doubt.
Oh. That's lovely.
But doubt is how you formulate questions about what could happen. Because starting at the logical circuitry there, it's like, what would happen if we did this? It's starting the experiment. What's going to, start of the process of the refining, which is interesting because at the end of that circuitry, we're going back to circuitry here. At the end of that circuitry, or the other end of it, I should say, is the gate 58 in the root that connects to the 18, which is judgment, the channel of judgment, which is about refining and getting to what is working, what's not working. How could it be better?
That makes sense that they're in a circuit then.
That's right. It's all together. It's logical. So basically for a projector then, getting a genuine invitation that is recognizing your gifts of what you bring to the table and what's important to you and where you shine. Because remember, you're here to guide and manage others, but you're not here to guide and manage everybody.
Just the people that want it and recognize how you are.
Right, because it's a waste of your energy.
If they're not going to listen.
Have you learned that yet?
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
I mean, you tried to manage your dad about that toaster this morning that doesn't work.
I hate that toaster.
It's the worst toaster.
I murdered a bagel trying to get it out of the toaster.
Yeah, Haley's dad has an attachment to a toaster.
Because it toast bread perfectly. I adjusted the...
Don't tell him.
He's not going to listen.
No, this toaster has like a 20-foot long braided cord.
It's from like the 1970s.
It weighs about, 25 pounds.
It probably is also a murder weapon.
It's a horrible toaster. Nobody likes it,
but it toasts the perfect bread.
Yeah.
So I adjusted the temperature knob on it.
You'll show him.
I didn't go all the way, but I did.
Yeah. I don't know if that's really relevant, but anyways.
He didn't accept my management.
Yeah. So in a perfect world for a projector, not in a perfect world, but in a perfect scenario of an invitation, that invitation will come with a hand of support basically for the projector, because a projector's energy is not meant to do the typical 9 to 5 work. And this doesn't have to be like monetary support, but quite often it is an exchange of energy, that they recognize that your energy is precious. It needs to be used for a specific purpose in an exchange. So you don't have to worry about running yourself ragged. You'll be supported in some way by the person that offers the invitation.
Gotcha.
And so that is the clear way for your cross to really shine too, because it is, what you're here to, the theme of the expression of your life. So
Was that more broad for projector?
what do you mean?
Well, you had been talking specifically for mine, but what you just said about the hand of support and
Yeah, because you've got to be responding to the right invitations where you've been recognized for who you are, because that in that way your cross will,
regardless of what your cross is.
yes, they go hand in hand. I mean, but what I'm saying is because you're a projector, following their strategy is going to really help them express their cross's energies. Remember, it's not anything you're doing.
Right.
It's just
being
happens.
you.
Yeah. So that means that by you being you, you're being authentic by following your strategy and authority.
And then your
So that
incarnation
means
cross is like, it's my turn to shine.
That's right. That's right. So moving on to manifestors and their cross will show up more as they inform others, because it helps them break free from the limits imposed on them by others by informing them of what they want to happen, what they are about to do, or what they plan on doing, so that people can basically get out of their way, and then they can be in their own creative nonverbal flow. Which I did speak to someone recently as a manifestor, and she's talking about how much she hates it when she has to tell people what she's about to do, that it really does interrupt her, and she just like, ugh, can't handle it. So anyway, so if a manifestor is informing people using their strategy, then it's really just to get people out of their way so they can live in their full expression of who they are, and then the cross is revealed in its higher expression to those around them. And so we come to the reflectors and their cross, which their strategy, it's a little different, they say, for reflectors, because they're more lunar beings, and so much of cross is about your solar energy, your solar expression,
right?
Your sun energy.
Moon. No, solar. Solar is the sun, lunar is the moon.
Yeah. So there will be that 28-day period thing, but you think, oh, how does that work with, cross? Is that also for reflectors, since they are always sampling their environment, because they have no defined centers, they're all open. That means that they're always sampling their environment. They have to just keep following what environment feels correct for them, will lead them to the right place and the right use of their cross. And so it could also say that leads them to a certain place or certain people, and it might not fully be understood why they are there, but through the course of maybe a lunar cycle, it slowly gets to be revealed of why they are being called forth, why these people or environments needed their energy around. Because I used to think about cross as being like personal to me, like this is just about me, but it really is about the other, and what you being the fullest expression of yourself, is where it's needed the most.
Well, like Ross said, it was like the job description of your aura, which I feel like an aura is more of like, it's not so much your internal thing, because your aura is around you. So I always kind of think of the aura as like what you're putting out there.
Yeah, it's true. And so this is where it's really good to dig into the energies of your gates and what they mean to you. And like I said, the Gene Keys with Richard Rudd's contemplations on, helping you see if you're maybe not living out the fullest, truest gift expression of your energies, which I think is what his work is really great at pointing. Because I think we can all recognize our, not our faults, but more of our shadow behaviors than allowing ourselves to see our gifts, basically. So I think when you identify, oh yes, I can see that shadow energy, like I'm just, okay, I can only speak to myself the most because that's me. But with my sun and earth, let's say the 14 and the 8, the ones I'm more aware of. Mm-hmm. So 14 is power skills, but he calls it the gift of that is competence. I'm like, competence, what does that mean? But he says the shadow expression of it is compromising what's correct for you, because that gate, it's a sacral gate. It has a lot of power with the right direction. So the best expression of that would be for me to keep moving in response into things that's correct for me and no one else, what is good. And it brings this lot of energy behind it. It's called power skills. But when I compromise, mm-hmm. which I've pretty much done always, because I'm also a 4-1, so it's all about my people, what's important, my relationships and stuff. Compromise being I may put other people's things before my own. Mm-hmm. And when I'm compromising in that way, when I'm disregarding my sacral response, when I'm doing the work for other people and not necessarily for what feels right for me, mm-hmm. I'm compromising. And I totally, when I first read that, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
That's my shadow. I'm in it.
Well, and because that gate is supposed to be like, this great, like, abundance moneymaker mm-hmm. kind of gate, because it really is. It's using the power of your sacral in the right direction should bring a lot of,
bounty.
Yeah.
Get you that booty.
But it's been a lifelong struggle with me with the financial in that way. And because I've always worked, but I'm realizing now through this work and working with human design, this is what really lights me up. Not parasailing, not working with flowers, not, working with kids. I mean, I did all those things I could do it and they were okay, but it wasn't the thing. But,
it wasn't the thing.
Yeah. But I could recognize more of when I'm living in my shadow. And like we also talked about, you're going to go back and forth between gift, shadow, because you're just human. And especially if you're emotional authority, you're going to go high, you're going to go low. It's just kind of interesting to know about yourself. I do like reading the Book of Destinies, Cheech Parkin's descriptions of them. Mm-hmm. And again, you can read that description, but then you just, it's another one of those things in human design. But what is my interpretation of how this feels? Because even though you can have these guidelines of what these gates, these archetypes are, these themes, it's how you express it, mm-hmm. what it feels like to you. And everybody's different. So there's a lot of contemplation work there. So really, we just I bring up looking at cross and trying to understand it a little bit more is just because
kind of at least lets you know what you're looking out for, what you're kind of like trying to feel, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's like theme. It's like circuitry shows you if you have more circuitry in, the individual or the collective or whatever, mm-hmm. how your energy wants to be used and expressed. This also is just another piece of the puzzle that kind of gives you a guideline, a framework of what all the other elements in your chart are pointing to as mm-hmm. well. So there is a lot like in mine, which would be about living in response, about trusting I'll be in the right place, about connecting with the right people, about having faith that, resources won't be a problem as long as I stay true to what it's guiding me towards. So, mm-hmm. yeah.
Yes.
And you being a projector and yours, Dominion sounds like such a strong, like authoritarian
I know,
word.
it does.
But the 26 and the 45 in your unconscious sun and earth, because your conscious sun and earth 63 and 64, those head energy gates, right? So mm-hmm. you are I would say in your line 6 in the leadership position, mm-hmm. but correct leadership, because the 26 is also like the gate of integrity, and 45 kind of has that rulership, king and queen energy. So you are a leader and a guide, but in the right place, the right mm-hmm. circumstances when it's called forth from you as a projector. What that's going to be, who knows? It's going to maybe shift and change, but it'll lead you to the right places where people will recognize you for what you bring to the table.
I do typically take a leadership role
You can't help it.
Any group project I was in college, I was the one in charge of it. Hunter started the lip dub. I somehow ended up in charge of it, yelling at high school kids.
Somehow.
Somehow, it just happened.
But I guess not all of them invited you in, so you were...
No, they were stupid high school kids.
Yeah. So anyways,
yeah.
That's the basics of cross. Do you feel like you have a little better understanding, or did I just complicate the matter more?
No, I think I get it, because like you said, it's just... It's like the high level...
Yeah, it's like the container of what everything...
Yeah, of how your energy is.
Right.
The job description of your aura, according to Ra.
Right, because if you look at all the gate expressions, everything is trying to push through that sun gate. So that sun gate is always... Those sun gates are going to be the main themes. I think Karen Parker says it's like a funnel turned upside down. Because all... The outer planets and all those things down there, those are themes that are more universal themes, more like over, more
long term.
The outer planets affect more of, I guess we could talk about that one time too, more of humanity. Like if you're born in your like Pluto gate, themes are going to be kind of more applied to your generation, because it takes Pluto like 84 years or something like that to orbit. So anyways, everything, all the themes, all the archetypes are all trying to push up through that expression in that sun gate. That's your main, because those gates are your 70% of your whole, I was going to say population, of your personality, are these, because they carry the most weight in the chart.
Sun ones, or the sun and earth? Yeah,
mainly sun, but sun and earth, they go hand in hand. They're very closely linked together. They're linked together.
They buds.
They buds, yeah.
They best buds.
Yeah. Because,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's time for lunch.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Incarnation Cross. Here in the room together.
Can we go eat now?
Yeah, so I think it's lunchtime. I think we just need to like cut it here and go back to next time. We'll be separate rooms. That's okay. We'll get together again, I'm sure.
Now that we've figured it out.
Yeah. All right, so go forth, everyone, with your cross.
Go forth and prosper. In the words
cross.
of Spock.
Just be you. Let your cross shine through.
That's our slogan. Just be you. Let your cross shine through.
Amen, brothers and sisters. Until next time, Haley. I'll see you later. So, it feels weird to say bye in front of you, but I'll close my eyes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, you made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hivecast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Catch you in the next episode.